Here we go. It's time to nerd out about the show that Stephanie's never watched.
Star Trek or Ad Astra.
Well, you were here for Ad Astra, but
I know, but not the show.
I think you still know Ad Astra, right? I mean, still know Star Trek.
What?
You still don't know any Star Trek.
There we go.
There we go.
Words.
I was gonna do KNOWNO.
I'm aware of some Star Trek. I've seen a little tiny bit of it. I was just telling somebody about how the one episode I really remember that my brother made me watch was the one about the flute. And the flute where what's his face lives a whole life on a different planet, and then it's like not.
Oh, like Picard lives an entire life, like, and then just wakes up the next day. Like, it's like that gag from
he lives a whole
Rick
life
and Morty.
On another. He ends up on another planet. You think he just ends up there organically, and he lives a whole life there, and he has like a wife and a child, and he lives, and then he dies. He has a whole entire life.
And he wakes up the next day, and it's the day after he like when he originally left.
It turns out that this society had been dead for like hundreds of years, and they just wanted people to remember them. So they gave him a vision of like what life was like on their planet, and left him with a flute. And the episode ends with him playing the flute. Like, he knows how to play it, which proves that he was there.
That would be traumatic.
I just was like...
That'd be a rough time to live as.
I was like, oh, I'm so moved. I did watch one episode that moved me, and that was that one.
Yeah, that's an interesting episode to see. Obviously, with like hundreds, probably thousands of episodes, there's schlock in there, but there's also like really interesting stuff, and there's also just like a bunch of like goofy like thought experiments, because it's obviously supposed to be like societal allegory on a lot of the cases. Like I have to think about the episode where Wesley steps on the grass. Like he's like, they go to some perfect, pristine, super planet. They're like, wow, everything's so perfect here all the time. It's like akin to like that fucking like that animal planet from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We're like, see, everything's perfect here all the time, and it's like too clean and too weird, so you just know something's gonna come up. And in this place, he's like the kids are playing ball, and the ball, like, they have like a Sandlot moment where the ball gets out of bounds and everyone just stares there like, oh no, and they don't move for it. Like, but in Sandlot it was because it went into the evil dog yard in the best movie ever. But
you don't like Goonies. You like Sandlot, but you don't like Goonies?
I do like Sandlot a lot. Forever. But the
ball lands on the grass.
In the Star Trek episode, all the kids stop and you don't know why, and Wesley's like, "What? Come on, guys, what's up?" And so he just goes over and gets the ball, and there's like a "Don't walk on the grass" sign next to that field, and so he's on trial, and he's on trial for breaking this rule, and I think the penalty for breaking any law is death on this planet.
Any law at all?
Yes. So it's one of the more on the nose concepts of like, this is a concept that'd be very difficult to actually be like, it's difficult for this to be like a reasonable actual setting that people actually live in any real way, but it's obviously doing commentary on the idea. Like, this one's very specifically seemingly about the idea of like, okay, what is lawful and what is just are not the same thing.
It's like how weed is an immensely illegal punishment in China, and you basically get like life in jail for having like I'll say doobie, but I'm like not that old. Having a doobie on you,
or the entire concept of queerness and so on. And it's just like I
don't know. I think we should lock all those folks away.
It's like akin to the idea of like that. Like you had to acquaint yourself a bit, I think, with the alignment chart in D&D. And that explicitly calls out that idea of like, okay, there's one axis that is whether they are chaotic and neutral or lawful in terms of like, so there's two axes: chaotic, lawful, and good, and there's chaotic to lawful on one axis, which is how much they follow whatever the existing rule set is, be it a self-imposed creed, a religious order, the literal law of the land, etc. And then there's good to evil on a separate axis, and every combination's valid, which inherently calls into question the idea that lawfulness is morality in itself, which is a really interesting thing to have in a tabletop system that's been around for so long. So maybe the conservatives were right to be mad about it when they called it witchcraft or whatever.
It is Satanism and evil and scary.
By which I mean they were quote unquote right to be mad at it strategically, because it is against a lot of their ideals. just the very idea that even exists.
For some reason, I know this is, sorry guys, a long tangent right off the start of the episode, but my brain always goes to one specific example, because this is the first time I ever thought about it as a kid, was when I was watching Edward Scissorhands, and the dad asks Edward Scissorhands if he found a lot of money, what he would do with it. And Edward Scissorhands says if he found the money, he would use it to buy things that his friends and family need and would like he'd buy presents and he'd pay for the bills for his friends and family, like he'd take care of them.
Yeah.
And his dad has to explain to him why that's wrong, because the right answer is to give it to the police. But as a child, I was like,
incorrect.
That's a good answer. Like,
yeah, Edward Scissorhand is correct, and like I think isn't half the movie basically that's the point, is that he's at least more correct. I've only seen it once and I don't remember that clearly.
Well, it's more so just that he's a good person in a world that like he lives
because it calls into question the assumptions that the society around him has.
He has no perceptions of what society's like, but he ends up being a good person, and he goes into a society where people really care about each other's opinions of them, and they put on a lot of airs to be like be correct or be good or be right. And so like he doesn't fit in because he's just like a genuine individual who does nice things for people, but everyone just like jumps on him for being different, and it's like a whole bit on that. But now as a kid I saw that and I was like, you know what? Fuck the police, because like little brother like brings up a point. It's like, oh, they just pocket it anyway, and I'm like, they would just pocket it anyway.
Yeah.
Buy nice things for your friends and family.
The police literally pocket stuff that they find in the cars of people that didn't do a crime, but they searched.
Yeah, and then they'll put something there to arrest the person.
That's civil forfeiture or whatever, like where they just snatch people from things from people all the time. So they're not really the moral person to give money you find to anyway. But anyway, Ad Astra in the Echo universe. I had a chat with McSkinny, and I'm happy I did, because when I caught wind of this, I was like, oh, this will be interesting. There's going to be like some sort of like metatextual commentary about Ad Astra within Echo. Like maybe Daxton's just a huge nerd about Ad Astra, and he's going to say things about it that are like some interesting things to think about Ad Astra, like the visual novel. But as it turns out, this entire route was finished before a single build of Ad Astra was out. So McSkinny just thought it was going to be like furry Star Trek or something. So he just functionally wrote about it like it was Star Trek, and called it Ad Astra and used some assets from Ad Astra. But it's because of the order in which these things were made. It's not like a response to Ad Astra or anything. It's not like that kind of route.
It doesn't serve as
I did get excited thinking it might be.
It doesn't serve as a narrative foil or anything.
Yeah.
Hey, I think I got it. The internet's kind of slow out here because it's satellite, but it suffices.
What kind of nerd are you, Daxton? You don't have your own copy of Ad Astra?
Yeah, aren't you like the biggest fan ever?
Where's your DVD box set? Like real Star Trek fans.
Do you have a DVD box set?
I do not have a DVD box set of Star Trek, like as a concept. But I did have a DVD box set of just the Q episodes. Because Star Trek has gone on for so long that they have like themed box sets.
They have compilations?
Yes, they have compilations.
Wow.
Like they will sell you a box set of a particular like story arc or like reoccurring villain or some sort of character or something. Like in this case, Q, the guy who played not by John C. Reilly. Jesus.
Wow, that'd be cool.
Q played by the dad of the girl from Breaking Bad season 2. He's like, remember the airplane director guy of season 2? I
do not remember that guy's face.
It's a character you'd only remember specifically because
so
you knew him as Q first.
That is so specific.
If you knew him as Q first, you're like, oh my god, he's in this show, cool. But if you don't know him from outside that, then you forget that character exists. The character Q is a mischievous, like Loki type character that is like this character that just pops in and can warp reality around him. And basically, the moment he shows up, Picard and everyone on his crew are just like his playthings, and they just have to deal with him and get through this fucking episode now because like they can't make him go away, and he's gonna just do his thing, and you just have to get through it. Except it's not like it's not just like, oh, humor him and he'll go away. It's like threatening life and death situations. Like he's literally the first episode of Next Generation is a Q episode, but Q keeps showing up throughout Next Generation. And then also in Deep Space Nine and Voyager, including like, oh, there's the episode where Q loses his powers and has to act like, he's acting like he's a normal person at the mercy of the people that he fucked with before and stuff like that. And so at the end of these like oh, here's our 700 episode anthology of several different shows that are all the same universe. They'll go through and be like, okay, here's like the 15 Q episodes as a DVD box set, and that's like a thing you can buy. It's like a fun outcome. It's like if you were like, I want the Dalek episodes of Doctor Who because there's 500 years of Doctor Who and Daleks show up once a season, so you just sell those as a set instead of the whole show.
I just want all the episodes with gay undertones.
Oh, that's all of them.
Or overtones.
I've got great news for you. Or overtones. I would like a gay overture.
Yes, please.
Flynn meanders on over, lounging on a love seat on the left side of the living room. What a name.
That's a hint. That means something, right?
His tall stature results in his legs hanging far over the edge. Of the love seat? The long seat?
That doesn't make...
How fucking tall is he?
That doesn't make sense.
The lizard scratching his exposed chest with a yawn. He's got rim lighting. It's all themed. There's an incense next to him. He cranes his long neck to look back at me and Carl. So, who's gonna be in Daddy's lap today?
Yeah, who wants to sit on the love seat with me?
You two tits gonna sit all the way back there? Hold on, I'm coming. Carl give me a little nudge, and we follow suit, beers in grasp. Looking at Flynn now, I realize that part of me wishes I could go there and lay beside him. You literally can. Oh wait, you can't because he doesn't want to anymore because your boyfriend ruined it because you've ruined it because you can't just break up with your boyfriend, you loser.
Yeah.
It's been years. Chase.
Also, I think Flynn would be weird about PDA. He'd be like, get away from me.
I don't know. Daxton knows he's gay.
I know, but...
And I feel like he's probably, like, if he has a reputation for hooking up, then I'm guessing that people are around.
He's a tsundere, so he'd just be like, oh, get off me, ew. But then he'd, like, kind of hold you.
Whatever.
Well, fine.
I'll humor you, I guess.
I guess.
And then he's blushing.
Yeah.
More practically, I sit in the recliner in the center of the room, while Carl and Dax take the other sofa.
Okay, so in this episode, Captain Amicus lands on our planet in the year 1968. He's looking for technology to stop an uprising in the future, but...
So he knew the name. Dax, shut up.
No spoilers, dude. Alright, fine.
Now we're on the ship. That was like a beam me up sound. Or something.
Who's saying this?
Captain Amicus, the slime women, they're in the engine room.
Beep boop beep bop bop.
This leaves me no choice, Cadet. Activate self-destruct protocol Baker 19er. But Captain, there's no time to debate. Get to the escape pods. Captain, the test results just came in. They aren't slime women, they're cell women.
Woo.
They're multiplying as a result of some sort of cancer-like phenomenon. By God, Cadet, this changes everything. Deactivate self-destruct protocol. If these are cells, then our ship is one sick patient. Cadet, flood engineering with radiation pulses at 3-second intervals, maximum output. Why would that be a thing you can do in the places where people are? I guess engineering. I guess it was engineering, not like the fucking like flood everybody's like bedrooms with radiation.
Ew. Flood everyone's bedrooms.
Let's see if we can make some sexy hooks. I still don't understand why the cell women have tits. Why are they women in the first place?
Because they're sexy, Flynn. Okay, every sci-fi thing needs hot ladies in it. That's a part of the thing.
This scene is a direct call out to anyone who ever said that I gave Flynn my Amicus voice, because now they're in contrast.
And they are different. They are.
They're
different.
not. You gave
him your gumshoe voice.
Yeah, or a version of it. I put way more effort into
your
it.
Your Patrick Warburton-ish voice.
I was trying way harder to be Patrick Warburton during Gumshoe.
And you fucking hurt yourself.
It's a lot of work to do a voice like that all the time. Yeah, and like, that's supposed to be like a funny game for stupid stuff, and not like, I'm about to get my dick out.
Yeah, don't.
Aren't you sexually attracted to my Patrick Warburton impression?
No, Joe Swanson. I don't want to fuck Joe Swanson.
Hey, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
Why does it sound like low?
Huh?
Hey, Peter.
Hey, Peter. 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 Oh gosh, I want to.
You don't take better care of your dog, I'm gonna call PETA.
PETA would just fucking take him
PETA's
away and
awful.
euthanize them.
PETA doesn't like dogs.
Yeah.
PSA: PETA doesn't like domestic dogs. Doesn't think they should exist. They're also just a bad organization.
Yeah, I will vouch for this as a long-term vegetarian. I don't like PETA. As an animal rights activist, I don't like PETA.
Nope.
Or why all the lady officers don't wear pants. Carl, you're not upset about that. Don't lie.
All right, because this is the original series.
Because they wear little skirts, huh?
Yeah, and because in the
I just thought they were naked.
in TNG, most of the women are wearing like full head to shirt, like they were in the same pajamas as everybody else that go like from fucking ankle to collar.
Yeah.
But there's like I think just the counselor wears a skirt. And there's a fun detail that men can wear skirts too in that universe because it's just two uniforms that you can choose between freely. But none of the characters have skirts. It's just background characters you'll see. And that's disappointing. I want to see I want to see a whole season where Picard wears a skirt.
Wasn't there, who's the main lady that everyone knows from Star Trek?
Which Star Trek?
I don't know.
There's Uhura in the original Star Trek.
She's
the comms officer.
The first interracial kiss on TV.
Yes.
Right? Yes,
yeah.
That's so cool.
It's like I have to think more because I'm like, I think of like Crusher and Troy from Next Generation are the two lead women, but like I don't know if they're better known because Uhura's like the first show is the most iconic one. Like, it's not necessarily.
Wait, did she kiss Captain Kirk? Who's she kiss?
I think it's Uhura and Kirk in like the third movie or something.
Oh.
Like the show is already over and then it came back decades later to make a movie. Like that's how long it took to have this happen, and it was still some kind of first, or at least unusual at the time. No, a lot of that stuff was really cool. Like like you have, even if like inevitably it ages poorly in some cases because it's old now and some stuff will be left behind. Like there's like a lot of it was really forward thinking and had like this emphasis on like integration and like on having these diverse casts that represent different things. So that's why it's completely like I think about how like was it like Whoopi Goldberg's quote when she wanted to be on Next Generation, which she did. She's on it throughout the whole show as like kind of like a side character.
Whoopi Goldberg?
Yes.
Really?
Whoopi Goldberg is in the Next Generation,
and
she's and I think she's in the entire show basically, but she's not she's a character that they can like slot in and out whenever they feel like. She's not on the main deck, so she doesn't have to be there the whole time.
Yeah,
but she's the bartender. So if you go whenever they go to the entertainment deck, there's Whoopi Goldberg, and she's got this like big, goofy, flat-topped like space hat. It's just a stupid hat. It's just fun. But like her quote at the time was like she wanted to be in Star Trek because like if you look at sci-fi at the time as a medium, what she said is that there's no black people in the future. Because like whenever you watch sci-fi back then, whenever there was something showing about like the future and spacefaring civilizations and any cool sci-fi concepts, it's just all white people. So it's like which like bizarrely and creepily ends up inadvertently or directly implying that like there just aren't black people in the future somehow.
Every other race died off.
Like the idea that future is white and that the white people created that and they're the reasons why the technology's that way, and also the only people that deserve it or exist in that universe somehow. That's what happens. You don't include diverse groups in your sci-fi spacefaring adventures and all that. And like obviously there was like Uhura in the original Star Trek, and like so like for her that was an influence for her. Like that was a big deal to see Uhura on camera, and so she wanted to be in the next Star Trek when it started coming out, when they started making Next Generation, and that was like her motivation to be in there. And that's why it's really stupid when people complain that there are now like openly gay people in the newest Star Trek and everything. It's like, okay, just say you were never a Star Trek fan, I guess.
Well, that's inherently stupid to me because it's like
it's stupid in all cases, but even dumber for Star Trek, the specific thing known for doing this exact thing.
But also, like, you expect me to believe that there's a whole fucking universe of different planets and aliens, and like the possibilities are completely limitless. But like, there's no gay people or aliens or whoever. Like, that's the fucking weirdest thing I've ever heard. Like, you live in
J.J. Abrams sabotaged Star Trek. So listen up. Opened up with fucking Kirk having sex with a green woman, but two dudes. That's it's seen as SJW shit, even though it's literally Star Trek. And at this point, they're basically playing catch up. Like, it's barely even progressive to even include. And there's still people that make a shit deal about it because they clearly never really were fans of Star Trek, and they want to convince themselves that Star Trek changed and betrayed them. But in reality, they became shitty people. Like, as kids, they were more of a blank slate, and then as they aged, they became shitty, bigoted people, and they want to blame Star Trek for leaving them and betraying them, but really, they betrayed Star Trek. Like, they never lived up to the ideals that the show was giving them in the first place.
I have, like, a deep love for sitcoms, which is a really weird interest that I have. Like, it's very strange. Like, I've seen a lot of very old sitcoms, but like one of my favorite aspects about them is when I watch an episode that I know is like from like the fucking 70s or something, and I'm just like, oh yeah, like this is really dope because I think about the time period and I'm like, this was really ahead of the time. I get like such a joy out of that. I don't know why people are like, I think that I love seeing the progression as I look back. I don't know why people are so pissy about when it happens currently. I think it's like awesome when I see something that's like...
it's because they suck. They're just shitty people. That's the mystery.
Yeah.
They're just horrible human beings. There's no... this is the tangent episode because I fucking grew up on Star Trek. It like raised me and like is like the most influential thing on like my entire value system essentially. Like I watched, like I would every day I would get out of like elementary school or middle school, and my mom would pick me up and take me out to like my dad's shop, and we just had like it was me and my brother, and we had like a couple video game consoles and a TV that just had bunny ears, and so we could watch KQCA 58. And that was like the only channel. So we either watched the same VHSs over and over again, like the Trunks saga from Dragon Ball Z or something, or Warriors of Virtue, or the other weird movies that no one remembers that I had, but there's what was on hand. Or I tried to play a video game while having to share it with my brother. Or we watched, or we watched TV. And the one channel that we liked was KQC 58, which would go from like a specific arc of like we'd first get there from school and it'd be like the Animaniacs or something, and that would transition to like The Simpsons.
I love The Simpsons.
And then because my dad always worked late every day, at 5 o'clock every day it became Star Trek: The Next Generation. So I watched seemingly all of that show in what felt like a random order every day. I just watched an episode of Star Trek every day for like 7 years or something. And then after that would be like Third Rock from the Sun and Frasier. And that's
both of those shows are great.
So that's the fucking programming thing. That's the programming I grew up on for like half a decade. Like that was just a huge period of time.
All in the Family, Married with Children, Sanford and Sons, like that moving on up one. The one that bums me out is my grandpa really liked The Cosby Show, and I'm like, that's a little bittersweet now. I look back at that. I'm like, oof.
Womp womp.
Funny without context, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, Star Trek's formative for me, but there's too much of it, so I keep procrastinating on rewatching all of it because it takes for fucking ever. There's so much. I might just use it as like background podcast fodder, like the way you do YouTube videos, because it's a lot. It's a lot. The thing about Next Generation is that you can kind of just hang out the way that you hang out with sitcoms and Shark Tank.
I watch reality TV.
Like you could binge a lot of Star Trek just because it kind of does play out like an audio drama. You don't need to watch it that directly a lot of the time.
Well, especially if you've already seen it.
Yeah.
I put on a lot of stupid bullshit when I'm when I'm doing homework or I'm doing other stuff. But old shows and reality TV. But Star Trek would be one of those ones that I would feel like I'd put on and it'd be very comfortable. If I had Disney Plus, which I refuse to pay for because Disney is evil, I would just put on The Simpsons nonstop and just do everything to The Simpsons all the time. I'm really sad that like there was like 4 days where like the downstairs was unoccupied and I just sat down there, did all my homework in front of the big TV watching The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But I can't give Disney money.
All right, Star Trek and let's Star Trek and chill. Get in Flynn's lap, Chase. This is his route. Carl takes another glug of beer. This being his third so far for my count.
Why are you counting his beer drinking? That's weird.
It took me a moment. Yeah, it's like it's weird to track people, but also like I had to take a moment to realize he means third beer and not third glug. I'm like, what the fuck? That's not
I thought he meant third glug.
I'm like, that's not a unit. You can't just measure the glugs.
That is
point out the glug on this chicken. Like, what the fuck? What's a glug?
I'm sorry. I like, what the fuck is on the fucking table? What? Okay.
Did Daxton or Flynn buy this?
It looks like a hippopotamus.
It looks like something that they would make, that the people that bought the Beetlejuice house would make.
Yes. I'm very interested in it because I think I might like it, but I can't tell. It looks like a hippopotamus looking up with its mouth open, and then they put like something in its mouth.
It looks like Das Boot is growing a red fern somehow.
Or that. Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted. I said I was going to show you the bad ones, guys.
When you blur it like this and put it through this filter, everything on that table looks like some kind of drug for paraphernalia.
Yeah, well, all the glass on the edge of the table was like, I was like, is that
like, I think one of those is
pipes?
A remote? Flynn's house is wild. I never would have imagined any of this. Daxton looks a bit defensive, leaning forward on the edge of his seat, his plump tail wrapped around the armrest. Carl idly chucks a throw pillow at the salamander.
I'm not complaining, dude.
He laughs a little, and Daxton eases, chucking it back at him with a bit more force.
Because Carl was talking about them not wearing pants. He's not complaining, dude.
Yeah. Carl takes the blow like a champ, in the regard that he doesn't even react beyond smiling goofily. It's surprising to see Carl comfortable like this around a stranger. I can't help but feel happy. He can still come out of his shell every now and then. It's fucking dumb. How does anyone take this shit seriously? They don't. We certainly aren't. I glance over towards Flynn, who's digging in his pockets for his phone. He taps the unlock button, squinting at the bright screen, the black and orange scales on his face seeming to glow silver and yellow in the light. I find myself leaning forward a little, trying to read the tiny text on the screen. Chase.
Aren't you like kind of far away?
Chase, fuck off. Everyone's reading each other's phones in this house. Like, it's huge bad no. It takes me a moment to realize that Flynn isn't looking at the screen anymore, he's looking at me. He huffs, moving the screen away from my view before beginning to text something. Is it? No, it's not Leo. You could just ask that without looking, you weirdo.
You ever seen like those screens you put on your phone that makes it so if you're looking at it from the side, you can't see it at all? Yeah.
It looks like it's censored in real life.
It's very trippy.
Yeah. Flynn stares at his phone some, a sort of expectant expression upon his muzzle.
Hey, I don't mean to be all prying and such, but who's Leo?
Oh, you'll meet him later. Or his revolver.
Is that the gun he had? I just feel like he'd have one of those. He'd like have like an automatic, like a douchebag.
An automatic? No, it was definitely a pistol.
Well, I mean, pistols can be automatic.
I don't think he can afford an automatic pistol. He eats TV dinners.
I don't know enough about guns, but isn't like the one that like police officers have, like an automatic, right? You don't have to like. Wait, hold on. Wait, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah,
because is a pistol,
like, where do I start?
Just a handgun?
As the guy that doesn't know shit about guns, where do I even start on bridging the gap here? Because I'm like, hang on a minute.
My dad would be so sad right now.
An automatic would be some crazy aftermarket shit. That'd be wild. That's like a video game gun.
Oh.
I think you might. People say semi-automatic, which is that essentially just like
the ones that just go.
Well, it's like it shoots at the rate you pull the trigger at. Basically, automatic is when it keeps going. Basically,
oh, like a machine gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I think AR-15s are often not automatic.
You can people mod them though. That's the problem.
Well, I don't think it's even that. I think they just can be automatic. I'm just saying that I don't think they often aren't. Even those are just straight up rifles. Like I don't think pistols are generally automatic outside of that one hilarious gif of the really, really huge dude holding a tiny gun that's just going off at the firing range. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I've not.
It's a wild aesthetic in part because he's just a big heavy dude, but his gun is going off so hard that it looks like some anime shit, and he's unmoved. Like he's just
he's solid.
The force is not affecting him. It's quite a visual. Dexton seems to be asking me this. My ex. Flynn glances back at for a moment, though says nothing.
Oh, Leo's a guy.
Did you think Leo was a girl or a concept?
Leo's this new app I downloaded.
Yes.
Cool.
The salamander frowns in an acknowledging fashion, nodding his head some before refocusing his attention back on the TV.
He's like, another gay guy?
I'm surprised he didn't hear his mess earlier, but maybe he didn't, like...
Maybe he wasn't home.
Yeah, maybe he just wasn't home.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, I don't know if that cool was, like, cool, or it was, like, cool, another one. You know?
You can tell this is Star Trek written, because I'm just like, why would this scenario exist? It's like, one, it's just so outside of what Ad Astra was, but it's also like being written by a gay dude, so he's just emulating Star Trek shit here, like original series. Captain Amik is in the midst of being attacked by the slime women. Oh no, not the slime women all over Amicus. This is consistent with the tone of...
Oh no, don't attack me, oh no.
Even with the prosthetics and lighting, I can tell that all the slime women are actually just a bunch of amphibians in green body paint. Flynn's phone vibrates again. He taps at it. Clearly not much of a fast texter. I almost said fax tester.
A fax tester.
After finishing his text, he hastily shoves the phone back into his pocket. I'm heading out. He pushes himself off the couch, unruffling his shirt before meandering over towards a bowl on the kitchen to get his truck keys. They keep him in a bowl, like swingers.
Like swingers? I think it's like a fish bowl, usually.
Is it a fish bowl or a popcorn? Get out of my popcorn jar. Never mind.
What the fuck?
Don't worry, it's fine, it's fine. Everything's fine. It was a bonding moment for me and Andrew. Wait, what?
Oh, come on, Slithead. Slithead, huh?
That seems racist.
That does.
That feels like I feel like you're riffing on shithead, but we keep talking about Flynn's slitted head. I mean, slitted eyes. I mean, and like calling him a thing. This seems too mean of a word. I don't like it anymore. Daxton briefly smirks at Carl's term before seconding. we all approve of this racist term. Ha ha ha.
I don't know. They're friends. He calls him fat all the time. I don't know. They have a rapport.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually pretty fun.
Where are you going? Out. You should get back to the motel before the others start bitching. I feel my face grow hot, my fists starting to clench. Okay. Maybe drop the mysterious act, asshole? Flynn just heads off to the front door, swatting his tail against the kitchen island and flicking me off as he exits.
Like flipping?
Flynn. Yeah.
Flipping me off?
That's just another word for it, yeah.
Flicking?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it's a... Every now and then it's the type of thing that people make a Twitter poll about and be like, which one do you call it?
Oh, really?
Soda or pop?
I've literally never heard that before.
Yeah, flicking is just another version. Flynn. He's out the door without further comment, and I can hear the chirping sound from his truck outside as he unlocks it. Beep, boop.
Fucking moody, right? Think something's up with him?
Carl shakes his head.
Nah, he's just trying to look cool.
It isn't working.
Dude gets uncomfortable with casual social stuff, I think.
He's 25 years old. This is bullshit. I mean... I know he's older than all of you, but damn, like, you and Carl are both your own different versions of, you're this old, what's up, guys?
Yeah, y'all have problems.
Yeah. Like, Carl's just a complete inability to just talk
Function.
to Daxton, who's just talking directly at him. Like, yeah, I'm just going to pretend I'm having an important texting conversation, and that's why I'm ignoring you. I'm like, bro, we're in a kitchen and there's only 4 of us. This isn't like as somebody who's socially anxious, this is not a rough one.
Well, I feel like Carl only opened up when Daxton was vulnerable with his own nerdy interests, and so Carl could feel cool enough to interact with Daxton, who had to like become nerdy in front of him for him to like be able to talk to him.
And like I get that
art history, he like wasn't into it, but when we talked about like, you know, at Astra, he was like, oh, this fucking nerd, I can talk to him, it's easy now.
Yeah, and I get that because it is easier. It's fun when you're like, oh shit, we have an in. Let's talk about Doctor Who and how bullshit Flux was. But I don't know. For me, I'm just like, it's just 4 people in a room. We just hang out. Like they're doing they're making it easy for you. They're asking questions.
Yeah, they put something on the TV. They're asking you to engage. Everyone's comfortable. Like that's an easy situation to be in.
Yeah, like for me, it's like the struggle is like just thinking of stuff to say and so on when you're like with the people you're not like super comfortable with. But if they're just gonna run the conversation, that's like, all right, cool. I can just answer questions and respond to things. That's way easier, and it's not like a big crowded room of like 20 people or anything. You're
at like a long table at a restaurant and everyone's loud and you're sitting next to people you do not know and you have to try to interact with them, but they're not asking you any questions. They're talking amongst themselves. But that's a trickier one.
But then on Chase's level, I need a ref sheet, or I need a sheet that just tells me everyone's ages. Everyone's ages when Sydney died, everyone's ages in Route 65, and everyone's ages now. Because like it's so hard to keep track. I think that Flynn's the oldest.
I think so.
And Carl's the youngest.
No, I thought TJ's youngest.
TJ might be the youngest, but isn't TJ only a year younger than Chase or something?
I thought TJ was the youngest by like a decent amount. Or not a decent amount, but younger than everyone else. It's hard to gauge,
because this came up when we're trying to follow the impact of like the scene about Micah, and we're like, hang on a minute, I need to do math. Because like Jen is really mad, so like, is there age math I need to think about here? Is something wrong? Because like you're like trying to figure out like how
the concept, or is it the fact that there's like a weird age gap?
Like, yeah, because I'm just trying to think like the game is just the fact that they're minors doing something they shouldn't be doing, or is it that there's also an age gap that's also maybe what they're going at to, and then it's like, but does the game expect me to know the age gap between Micah and Leo? Because I barely know the age gap between the characters that we actually follow the whole time, let alone Micah that we barely know, like, as for at least in those terms, like his age. I'm like, struggle. but in these terms, I'm like, Chase, you're whatever age you are, somewhere between 21 and 25, and like this is bullshit. You need to get your shit together too. Because like ages, the big thing that we're dealing with here with Chase is a version of what we dealt with all along, which is that Chase is so like non-confrontational and avoids difficult conversations so much that like his response to a difficult situation, like the ongoing Leo problem from route to route, is to just hide from it and like wait out the clock and just kind of like passively put off the idea that this will probably somehow resolve itself later, but then in function he'll just like hope the trip ends and then he leaves without having to deal with it. So like this whole trip it was first soured by Flynn's behavior, but it's being made worse by the fact that he's got a worsening situation with Leo that has now been going on for multiple days, and he's just avoiding just dealing with it, and it's becoming other people's problem, and it just keeps fucking festering. And so like that's the thing that Chase is leaning on right now, is he wants to just stay here and ignore what Flynn's up to and ignore Leo and not go back to the motel and just stay here in the Star Trek cocoon and just like wait this out and just not go home. Like he 100% is not trying to go back to the motel, and it's just, it's so frustrating.
I like the Star Trek cocoon. That sounds nice.
Yeah, but I'm just like, Chase, fucking, this is your problem. And it's becoming other people's problem. Please just fucking face it.
Most of Chase's problems become other people's problems.
Like a significant percentage of the problems in this game come from Leo confronting Chase at the beginning before the route split, where we got that CG of them looking like sad and Chase, like, the body language is even like Leo is leaning in and his like eyebrows are like up, and he's trying to reach Chase and trying to interact with him and try to get answers or trying to resolve this in some way. And Chase is looking away, arms crossed, and he does not definitively end or continue in that scene, like, which enables so many of the struggles. Like he doesn't just say, Leo, this is 100% over, stop. Yeah,
no, a lot of the problems would be avoided if he was just upfront. He's being he's being a little weakling.
Yeah.
Because he's basically avoiding being confrontational.
And we're still dealing with that chase right now, and it's like, please stop.
But these kind of interactions, like, people have to remember, including Chase, who's very immature, you have to remember that sometimes, like, those kinds of painful upfront discussions are actually beneficial for the people you're talking to. And so even though it seems mean in the moment, it could be, like, the actual correct and nice thing to do for a person.
Yeah.
And Chase is just such a wuss that he, like, he's so avoidant of everything. And like, and even now, like, he's failing to see that, like, this is partially his fault.
Yeah, he's
But
calling out Flynn for being immature, and it's like,
I mean,
bro.
to be fair, if I was Flynn,
I know you're in a glass house right now, but
I had guests in my home, I wouldn't leave my guests to hang out with my roommate while I went off to go do other stuff. That is a dick move, you know, especially if it's like all my friends from, like, little kid school, and, like, if people I haven't seen for so long, it's like, oh no, I'm gonna ditch you to go fuck or whatever the fuck Flynn's doing. And poor Daxton has to carry the weight of entertaining these two people now, who he, like, we don't know his perspective. He might not feel comfortable with that. It might be fucking awkward for him to do that.
What do you think Flynn's doing?
I assume he's gonna go fuck someone, but that
It's just that, like, he's just,
I think he's booty
but
calling.
everything else is going on. I'm still active.
When people get up and there's like, I gotta go do a thing.
Diversifying my portfolio.
45 minutes. Like, I don't know how long they'll be gone. I'll be back in like 20.
Just trying to think of, like, what it could be. Yeah, because, like,
Go get my dick sucked really quick.
I assume he's not somehow meeting with TJ, and he insists it's not Leo, and I think that we can probably believe him there. But then I'm like, well, it's not going to be work.
Ooh, what if he is going to go meet Leo?
And I don't think he's, like, picking up drugs or anything. So I'm just like, what would he be taking off for?
I think it's for something kinky.
Who does Flynn know?
Apparently everyone, according to his aunt, he's like, oh, another one of your friends comes to visit you at work?
He's a popular boy.
Obviously.
I wish you'd just be straight with me.
Oh, yeah.
That's the last thing
what
you
we just
want.
talked about.
One, none of you are straight.
Yeah.
But two, Chase, you're not straight with people.
Yeah, you're not upfront at all.
At all. Daxton snickers, though quickly shakes his head, stifling it.
Oh, see, he gets the joke.
What?
If he was being straight with you, you wouldn't be getting so pissed about this, I think. Straight as in, you two not macking on each...
Macking. I get it. I sigh, letting myself sink back into the suede fabric of my chair, it automatically reclining for me the more pressure I put on it. I'm starting to regret Carl finding out about all this. If he didn't know, it wouldn't be so much of a thing. Yeah, maybe you should regret telling Carl without asking Flynn about how he feels about you telling Carl, a person that is in both of your lives and will be in his life more after this week.
Carl did see, though. He saw them.
Yeah, but it's still like...
Carl might not have brought it up if it wasn't brought up to him, though. He might have just kept it to himself forever.
Yeah, but it's also like... But yeah, now Flynn knows he knows, and it's in the open, and it's a thing they have to deal with, and so on.
Does he know I know he knows?
Yeah.
Does he know he knows he knows?
They also didn't fuck on the truck.
Yeah, but...
Flynn got handsy.
I mean, that's like a stone throw away, dude.
Yeah.
Like, the intentions are still there.
It would have been easier just to pretend it never happened in the first place. I wouldn't have to deal with lying to the guy I loved for most of my teenage life.
Leo?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah.
No, yeah, they were into each other for a while.
For some reason, right then, I was like, who is he talking about? Who is he lying to?
So messy about not just cleaning up after this thing, just cleaning the situation up.
I was gonna make some kinky joke, but I couldn't think of how to phrase it, so...
They could fix so much of this with polyamory.
Leo would never
like that. But also Leo is heavily characterized to be really fixated on, like, this, like, heteronormative versions of being gay.
Yeah.
So there is this whole element of, like, he's the man in the relationship aspect that's just chula. Like frustrating. Yeah, like the way that he genders his language towards Chase, and I don't think he bottoms and so on. Because he's man. He's the man.
I'm gonna hit play again if that's all right.
I'm staring at the ceiling now, but I can feel them both looking at me. Go ahead. I'm just gonna close my eyes for a little while, okay? Chase, you are not about to fall asleep on this couch and just avoid Leo for even longer until he just beats the whole
window.
fucking wall down like the Kool-Aid man.
Poor Daxton will be caught.
He's
in the
already
crossfire.
red.
He is already red.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. Gotcha, dude. We'll wake you if something cool happens.
No risk of that happening with you guys.
So we'll wake you in the morning. Gonna get a beer, BRB. Damn, Carl.
Self-own, self-own, self-own. I shut my eyes near the trademark Ad Astra music resume. Do we?
This isn't Ad Astra music.
It's not a piano. I'm trying to think. It might be one of the space themes, but those are like so like ethereal that they're not memorable the same ways. But it's definitely not the piano song that I specifically have burned into my brain forever and would learn to play if I ever played piano immediately.
There's a keyboard somewhere in this house.
Yeah, I think it was ordered and then never opened and then stashed away in the closet or something.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which is whoop. Somebody had an ADHD hobby that didn't even last long enough for the Amazon package to arrive.
Yeah, I think the package itself was never opened.
A large paw gently pats my shoulder, followed by audible hoof clops on the kitchen floor behind me. I stare up at the unmoving ceiling fan above me. In the dark, everything looks all grainy. It seems like the lights are still on, but the dimmer is so low they might as well not be. Must be a salamander thing. Speaking of, him and Carl aren't here anymore?
Yeah, dude.
I try to recollect how much time has passed since I closed my eyes. It feels like just a minute ago. As I rise to a stand, I feel I feel kind of sluggish for some reason, like my legs are still asleep. You think this is fake? I think we're having another night terror moment.
It's not like red.
It's not always colored in a specific way. Sometimes it's just that he wakes up and then he's not actually awake yet, and we have a moment.
I don't know. It's hard because a lot of times he wakes up and like, I'm looking at a field, like I'm outside. Like,
yeah, but he's had multiple times where he wakes up and has a night terror, like in Leo's bed or in his own motel bed.
Yeah,
that's part of why that's why we think it's real at first until it gets and it's like this. There's this like ramping of like, okay, which sentence specifically made you think this wasn't real anymore?
I mean, this route hasn't had one of those yet, so I guess we're kind of due.
Yeah, my face feels kind of numb too. I always feel worse after taking naps.
I fucking do too.
No, I do. I just refuse to nap. I just got to power through the day and just hopefully I sleep better the next night because napping will just make everything worse somehow. It'll both make the day worse somehow and fuck up my sleep schedule potentially more. Mm-hmm. Especially if I stay asleep somehow. I'm not really sure I get the appeal of taking them once a day like my mom does. Fucking Toaster sleeps naps like every day, and I'm like, I don't know how people do this. What the fuck? What are these people like? Granted, Toaster has his own sleep problems, which get into a lot during the Archers playthrough because he like. It was funny starting ramping up to start Echo and then meeting him and everything because he could just walk me straight through like all the stuff about like sleep paralysis and these other issues because he just knows them all intimately, which helps highlight which details. Between that and the drugs, he's like an encyclopedia for being able to tell you which details are things that like Howley is getting right in a way where he must have personal experience and which ones might be someone that are more suspicious. Which is why it stands out. Like, oh, now it makes sense. The pop brownie's written by someone else.
Yeah, no,
that's why it's so
like,
far off.
That's glaring, dude. Like, I told other people about that because I thought it was just so funny.
Moving to the nearby window, I squint at my reflection. Oh,
that's
not good.
Does it have his goatee? I can't tell.
No, that's not as good. That's the same asset. That's the same character we saw during the animated bit.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, that's that Chase. That's the one that Duke sees around.
I know. I don't like this.
I look like hell. And who shaved off my goatee? I don't think you can shave off dyed hair.
You can. It's just...
I mean, it wouldn't
just
look...
cut off the dyed part.
I feel like it would just look like... There'd just be like a skin, though, right?
Well, I mean, it depends on how far down you dyed it.
Yeah. How often does he re-dye it? What a pain.
Yeah, what a dumb thing to do for something so stupid looking.
I blink. It's still not there. I'm not that heavy of a sleeper, so I would have felt someone doing that. I don't think Carl's that cruel, is he? I turn, peering down towards Daxton's room. His door is open, and his bed is empty. They left me here? Why?
Because no one likes you.
My phone vibrates in my pocket. It's Leo. This is the boyfriend equivalent of, like, waking up and then be like, oh, fuck, I have to do a presentation in front of class, and I forgot my clothes.
What, being left alone?
No,
or
Leo.
Text.
Getting a dream text from Leo because it's a stress dream.
Oh, man.
I'm coming.
Dude.
What?
He's just sexting you. Like, he's, like,
yeah.
he just misspelled it.
I text him back. Though I seem to have caught a case of the Flynn. My texting dexterity is awful right now. Everyone left. I think I'm alone at Flynn's now?
I think I'm alone at Flynn's now.
While I'm at it, I also send a quick text to Carl and Flynn, asking them where they are. A vibrating noise comes from the kitchen, after I send Flynn's message. He must have left it when he went out.
Sorry.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
I'm sorry. I was trying not to sneeze.
When I walk in the kitchen, I see the phone propped up against the key bowl on the island countertop that Flynn swatted earlier. Its screen's brightness illuminates everything around it, with a picture of my face. It's low resolution, like he cropped and stretched it himself from one of my social media pictures. The photos from a class trip I took sophomore year to the Carbund Caverns. I'm wearing a hard hat that doesn't fit. The way the phone is propped up, it almost looks like it's on display. It's a weird way to place it. I know I shouldn't snoop through his phone, but if he wants to act all mysterious and dismissive, he's not leaving me much choice. That's not true. Wow, you're acting like you're keeping things from me. That makes me entitled to snoop and find them out. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's not at all what that means.
You're not even in a relationship. Fuck you.
Well, okay, so wait. The phone is propped up on the counter, and when he texts Flynn, it shows a picture of him as a younger kid.
Yeah, this is dream shit. This is definitely dream shit. No,
yeah,
this is real.
It's obviously dream shit.
It's a weird abandoned phone because people just leave their phones on display.
My phone doesn't have, like, if somebody texts me, it doesn't flash with a picture of them. Do other phones that do that?
Maybe? I'll be honest, I haven't really put pictures in my phone book to begin with because it's just work and I'm the only one that sees it.
My phone just lights up because it requires a passcode.
I think it shows my lock screen.
Yeah, mine does too.
And that's it. Also, someone shaved my goatee off. That warrants enough of emergency, I guess.
You haven't even looked in a real mirror yet. I'm just saying, like
Chase is so shitty.
If I looked in a window and I thought somebody shaved off my goatee, which I do not have, but like, I would probably go walk to a mirror first and be like, what the fuck did they do to my face? Because a mirror is low res, or a window's low res. A mirror is going to be like a more accurate depiction of what actually happened to you. A window's just like it's a foggy image of you. I would go walk to a mirror immediately, make sure they didn't write something on my face, or put, like, I don't know, put stuff in my hair or something.
I tap the screen and my message appears. I'm asking him where he is and telling him that everyone left. Tabbing back, I see one other message. The rest seems to have been deleted. It's from someone named Ryan.
We heard that name before?
No. That's a new name. I don't know a Ryan at all. He has no given profile picture. The bar is at 33 South Aloe Way, off of Hankley and Route 93.
Winky.
Winky smiley face.
Ooh.
Hankley and 93? I think that's by the casino, near the edge of the reservation. I spent most of the day looking at the map of the county, so I think I have a good spatial sense of where it is now. Did you?
Remember at the
I thought he
City Hall.
specifically failed to look at the map because it immediately stopped responding and broke. And so he's like, "Fuck it, let's look at these letters and photos." I guess.
Well, we had to click on like this, like he. Oh, yeah, I guess that is what he
I thought GIS immediately broke and he gave up.
It did, but I guess he glanced at it. Maybe
yeah, most of the day. The question is, why did Flynn leave this here with just a message on it? Yeah, I'm just wondering if this does turn out to be real information. Then I'm like, how is Chase dreaming it? Why would Flynn leave this? I don't see why this phone would be here if it's real. It's like he wanted me to find it. He wanted me to follow him. Jesus, does he think I'm that much of a snoop?
You are. You are.
Does he accurately know who I am? How could he think that of me?
You just looked at it.
Because apparently I am. You fucko.
You fucko.
This time it's my phone that buzzes. Another message from Leo. Hey. Huh? I type a quick response. Have to go. Sorry, Leo. Yep. Me physically moving means I can't talk on my phone anymore. Because I have to leave the phone. Because that's how phones work.
Was that reflection scary us?
Yes.
Yes.
That's not good. That's not a good Chase face. That's chase people away from me face. I shove my phone back into my pocket and head outside. Ooh,
and
it's
also,
hard to see.
Leo just said he was coming over to you. You should probably just be like,
bye.
Hey, I'm not gonna be there when you show up.
I just heard from Ryan on Grindr. So
from
bye.
The furry one of that.
Grindr.
I guess.
Was a furry grinder. I mean, we already have Bark, which is BRQ.
That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, it's just real life furry grinder.
But there's no furry grinder in this furry universe because that would be unnecessary.
Skin.
Yuck.
Just be called Skin. SKN.
Oh no.
Fucking Chase has to make a Musker account.
Musker. Musk types meat.
Christian singles, like Christian mingle.
Yeah. This, TJ would be on that one.
Yeah. It's where you don't get matched with anybody and then you just pray.
you match with somebody and then you feel immediately guilty about it and you gotta repent.
And then it bans you both.
About them.
Every time you match, it bans both people. It's actually nippy out in comparison to the heat of the day. Sheet clouding covers about half the sky above, and there's a tinge of humidity in the air, which is surprising. We usually get less than an inch of rain this time of year.
Yeah, it's almost like you're in a dream or something.
Another text? Leo again. Are you serious? I sigh, putting my phone back and getting my keys out. I'll think of something and apologize later. That's what you always say, but never do.
Yeah.
That's...
I think you have a lot of IOUs to people in terms of apologies, bud.
Chase doesn't get that a skipping stone eventually sinks. I don't feel nearly as sluggish as I did before, thankfully. Once in my car, I put the keys in the ignition, enough to keep the inside lights on while I fiddle with the GPS. How did Carl get home? Did he just walk? Did Daxton drive him, hugging on the moped?
Oh, I forgot he had a moped. That is
got a moped.
That's kind of a cute thought.
They gotta get busy with each other to get home.
I mean, I don't think a moped can fit two people.
Isn't it just like a bench seat at the back or something, like a motorcycle? I
mean, Carl's kind of a bigger dude. He's gonna be hanging off the back of that thing.
You could just add there's probably like a seat at the back for a second person. I mean, I don't know. I used to ride on the back of motorcycles a lot.
Yeah, motorcycles, yeah, but
I have a permanent scar on my ankle from hitting my ankle on the exhaust when I had sandals on.
Yeah, that is a thing.
Yay!
It depends on what kind of moped you have, really.
33 South Alloy Way. Aloe Vera.
Aloe Vera.
Vera. I got it. It looks like it's about a 22-minute drive according to this thing.
Dude. Where are you going?
I look over. Carl and Daxton are staring at me through the passenger window, concerned expressions on their faces.
The passenger window?
We were just doing the face from the Kudzu comic. We were just like, and just like autopiloting through this and not seeing anyone around us. We were about to just like ghost chase into the car and just drive off, and then he just woke us up.
So they're in the car right now?
No, they watched us.
Oh, through the past. So they're
I think
looking
they
the
saw
outside.
us behaving, and then they're like, "What the fuck? You're just gonna get in the car while you're like sleepwalking or something?"
No, it threw me off with them staring through the passenger window. It meant like through it at us, as opposed to they're inside of the car, which is what I thought it meant for a
second.
second.
It made no sense that they were gone, but so they just saw us get up and act weird, and then we got in the car and they're like, hang on, whoa.
Like, whoa.
Whoa.
This was funny. We're gonna film it. But then you got in the car, and now we have to stop you.
This is my specific trauma. Is under the substance driving.
Carl's, yes. I thought you meant
like
you.
Carl would be losing his shit right now because this is exactly what happened to him. And during that, he imagined that this chase was in the car with him.
Yeah,
so he might have been
died.
he might have been seeing the chase that we were seeing ourselves as in that moment, because he was like talking to a chase during that and thought that he killed him.
So this could be extra traumatic to Carl specifically.
Yeah.
For reasons that he might not even understand completely.
I look over. Carl and Daxton are staring at me through the passenger window, concerned expressions on their faces. Well, a concerned expression on Daxton's face. Carl just looks drunk. What?
You could be concerned and drunk.
It's easy.
You could be two things.
Look, watch. Two things could be true.
Yeah, two things could be true.
No one. That's our reference.
Yeah, no.
For nobody else.
Yeah.
Where have you guys been?
With you?
Why the hell did you guys shave off my goatee?
Dude, are you like allergic to Havarti or something? What a nightmare. I would hate that. Oh no. Sorry. Gorgonzola is my least favorite cheese.
He just lied.
It was actually Gorgonzola.
That's why Flynn's pissed. He noticed.
That Havarti Flynn wanted was sketchy.
Carl smiles lopsidedly at Daxton.
Dastardly.
What are you? Gorgonzola is a stupid word.
I hate Gorgonzola.
It's just a stupid word. I don't know what it tastes like. I can't think of it.
It is my least favorite food on the planet Earth.
I reach up and grab my chin, feeling the familiar scruff of dark brown hair upon my paw pads. I feel my heart start to thump heavy in my chest. What the hell? Daxton opens the passenger door.
You sure you should be driving? You're kind of wigging out. No offense.
I angle the rear view mirror down towards me. Sure enough, there it is on my chin. I'm sorry, I could have sworn that it was missing earlier.
Dude, just say you were sleepwalking. Just say it, and then everyone will chill out.
Well, it's because he hasn't figured it out yet.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, that's probably what I would do instinctively.
Sometimes you just gotta wait for the characters in the story to catch up with you.
Well, you were sleeping. It could have been a nightmare. I read all about this stuff online. It's your subconscious playing out your deepest desires, man.
I wanted to die in a car crash. Deep down. Carl slurs some, looking a mix of dazed and chipper. I don't think so, Carl. But look, are you guys coming with me? I think Flynn wanted us to follow him.
Yeah, we saw the message.
They did?
I don't know. He's kind of a private guy. If we're wrong, he's gonna be pissed.
He really did leave his phone behind?
With the message like out for you to.
He doesn't have a lock. He doesn't have a lock on his phone, like a password, and also he just left. Who leaves their phone ever?
But then also he would have to know that they were all weird enough to go look at it.
Yeah.
Like he would have to basically like this plan and having people follow him requires two things. One, them to try to look at your phone. Well, I guess the first one would be not having a password on your phone, and the second one would be knowing that they would try to look at it, realize that you don't have a password, and then look at your stuff, which is a weird thing for any. You shouldn't assume your friends would do that. But
now I just wonder. I'm trying to imagine what kind of animal do you think Ryan is, and do you think he's hooking up? Is that the point?
I think he's hooking up. I don't know what kind of animal Ryan is. I was trying to remember the name of the one that, I mean, it wouldn't make any sense, but I was thinking back to, because I thought this was a dream still. I was thinking back to Brian's whole tryst where we showed that one character. Like, basically, it was implied that there was like a character that he was messaging that he had killed in the mine. It was like a ferret or something. It was a young ferret boy.
Do you think that Brian might be one of like the people that Brian goes after at some point?
Well, I was trying to remember the name, you know. And then I was also trying to think about the time that, like, obviously this wouldn't be relevant either, so it wouldn't make any sense. But once again, I thought it was a dream. I was thinking back to when Chase was flirting online on the internet back in Route 65. What the name, if they even gave a name of a person that he was flirting with. Because remember, he had messages on his little Craigslist ad for whoever it was that he was trying to hook up with, which is very irresponsible for a young person to do.
Yeah, Chase was underage and on Craigslist trying to figure himself out because he didn't know how to find a single gay person to talk to.
He almost met up with someone specific, or
which
met up with somebody.
Is like strike 500 against their friend group.
What, that he tried to do that, or that
Chase thought he needed to go on Craigslist to get to talk to a gay person to figure out things out, when I'm like, okay, we definitely know Flynn was out, and we're pretty sure Leo was out, and he thought it was like safer to do that and like something that risky than just
really
talk to
just
Flynn.
Can't confide in your friends.
Yeah, what a horrible friend group. Absolutely awful.
We could think of it like an away mission.
Wow. Great job, Adam Sandler. You said a nerdy thing. I just have to obey now.
Remember you called Daxton a nerd for
I want Daxton to call him out so bad.
Well, actually,
even in the dark, I can practically feel Daxton cringe.
Oh God, Carl.
You trying to fucking like Big Bang Theory me?
Bazinga. Hey, I don't know. I'll go with you, but I'll hang back in the car.
Because I never want to deal with the actual fleck. I'm still a bit reeling from the whole facial hair fiasco, but the banter's making me feel better. Well, you could be tactical support? Why are you guys doing this? Stop.
Why are you feeding into this? This is why I don't usually share my interests with other people. Poor Jackson.
I mean, just like one of your furry porns, right? Like, it's just like the furries. Get it?
Yeah, I get
furries.
it. I'm relating to you.
It's like, shut up, shut the fuck up. Please shut the fuck up. Carl clambers into the back seat first, nearly toppling over. Daxton climbs up front, a little tipsy, but he seems to have most of his motor functions intact.
Lucky I don't have classes on Fridays.
Because it's Thursday.
Motherfuckers.
It's a reminder that we are early in the week enough to not have to worry about anything super crazy happening, probably. Because it's just Thursday. Usually the weekend's bad. This is just all us when bad things happen now. It's just our bullshit.
For a second I was thinking about like what day of the week it actually was in real life, and I'm like, do bad things happen on weekends?
No, today is Friday.
Oh my gosh. Bad things are bound to happen.
Yep, no, IRL, we're deep shit. Welcome to the climax of this play.